So, welcome everyone. This is Lou Martin, and this is my Awakened Spirits Network. And I am thrilled at long last, after many conversations and much negotiations, here she is in real time, the amazing Anahata Holly Hallowell. Anahata, how are you, my friend?
Oh my gosh, negotiations. Yeah, you had to really twist my arm. I just love you. I'm so glad we get to do this. We finally get to have a conversation with people with us.
Yes.
Um, because we we go back and forth and it's just so cool, but it's more fun when we can share with your beautiful network. So, hey everyone, in replay or live,
Exactly.
welcome to this wacky conversation between
Thank
two
you.
friends.
Thank you, dear. Yes, two new friends. I love you madly as well, sweetheart. Bless you. I'm just trying to keep up with you. Is the God's honest truth. You've got so much going on. Can you give us a few sentences for people who don't know you and how you might introduce yourself and your work?
Well, I think I've distilled it now into two words because all of the pieces of the puzzle of this ever growing, it's so fun being a ever student, always
Right.
learning, always growing, always exploring the new.
Yeah.
But there's always this tether that kind of weaves together into the wholeness of what is. And for me, the two words are water activation.
Yeah.
So that's really what I've distilled my purpose here on this planet into is water activation, helping us remember that.
Right.
And it's
Right.
it's come, in the form of codes, neuroplasticity, flow state, hypnotherapy, breath work, fasting, all of these components that really just help you to balance into that Christed center point so that you aren't, uh, Steiner calls it the Ahrimanic density, rigidity, over identification, juxtaposed the Luciferic, which is very triggering for most people. It's not Lucifer; it's an archetype, but that force of avoidance, of disassociation, of spiritual escapism, hypervisioning, disembodiment, all of those things, to bring them back into the center point, that creative coherence really is done through the sacred water of your body.
Right.
And then, of course, working with it externally because it is a mirror. And most of us don't have that relationship with water as it is. And so I really strive to help people remember their wholeness, and I would say return to it because it's already so. We're not broken. There's nothing wrong. We're having this human experience, and there are these two pulling forces, and we're dipping in and out, and it's that center point in the now moment. So I work a lot with nature, as you know, and alchemy. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, water activation, I would say, is
Oh,
is my thing.
okay. Yeah, that covers a lot. I mean, I would just say, if I can, you're a mystic and a scientist, and you bring these two worlds together so powerfully. And I connected with Anahata through the prayer work that she was doing to help save Florida from Hurricane Milton, which is also where I connected with Michael Abramson. Did we ever connect you and Michael together? Did you guys?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he's amazing. I haven't met him in person yet, and then he
Okay.
went up north to the cold state that he's in.
Right.
But yeah, you were the bridge between us as well. And
Right.
boy, wasn't that fantastic, the whole grid work. It
Yes.
really is. I get goosebumps every time I think about it because it's like, you know
Yeah.
what happened. I
Yeah.
mean, to zoom out, it was like catastrophe coming right over my house because I live in Southwest Florida.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? This doesn't have to be like this in the game of life where we are actually conscious aspects of the weather pattern. We can actually just work with it. And we together did this alchemy. And it was wild when I was like, okay, guys, what we need to have happen is the wind shear will come down, it will dissipate, it will cool the waters. So let's do this together. And
Right.
it was specifically exactly what I was guiding us into. It ended up happening. Like,
Yes.
this is where we're really embodying, like,
Yeah.
this isn't, "Ooh, wouldn't it be nice?" It's like,
Yeah.
no, it actually happened. It
Yeah.
actually happened.
Yeah. Well, bless your heart, darling. I mean, Anahata is just out there on the beach calling down the elementals and the Almighty, and giving direction. And they were going like, "Yes, ma'am. We'll get right on that. Thank you very much." And same with Michael. And I was just on with the third person that was a part of that for me, which is my friend there, Medina, who's in Queensland, Australia. Did I ever connect the two of you yet?
No, but I've heard about her, and because I do tune into your stuff as much as I can. I've heard you mention her a lot, and I've seen some of the things you've shared. You are this bridge. You are this beautiful bridge, Lou. And just the other day, I didn't. How did I not know you played the guitar too? I was
Well,
like, of course he does.
well, yeah, we're just getting to know each other, honey, which is a joy. And it's the same with Michael and Medina. Medina and I hadn't spoken much since Christmas, and she just invited me to get on and do a session like we're doing here last night, which was great because I got to talk about some of the stuff that we're finding out in Egypt. And a friend of mine, or several friends of mine, actually are on the ground over there synchronistically right now. But I want to make sure that we come back to what's happening for you and water. Can we also mention the patches? Would you like to say anything about your relationship to the LifeWave stem cell patch?
Oh my gosh. Thankfully, LifeWave is rolling out the water machine,
Yeah.
because I would have not been able to hear amazing Jessica if it weren't for the water. She's a
Okay.
student of mine, a dear friend. She's
Sure.
getting certified in the flow state technique, and she
Great.
happened to be in Texas in November
Yeah.
at the LifeWave convention.
Yeah.
And she was actually coming to Florida to see a friend, and she thought, "Oh, we could maybe arrange it." So we were going back and forth. We thought we could meet, and then I said, "Well, where are you? It sounds loud or whatnot." And she's telling me, then she's sending me videos and things about this water, and that's my life. I wrote this book, Light Memory: An Alchemist's Guide to Waterbending.
Wow.
My ancestors are, my real name is not Anahata, it's Hallowell, and Hallowell is of the Holy Well, a direct lineage of caretakers of holy water wells that go
Yes.
down into
Yes.
Gaia.
Yeah.
And so this is fact. My dad, I didn't even discover this. My dad's a genealogist, and he's like,
Okay.
"And do you want to know where Hallowell came from?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I was like, "Oh my God, I'm bringing this back." And then I know I had that amazing glimpse back into my past life when I was a Muin, and we were actually transferring energy to sustain us. We didn't eat a lot. We were also
Okay.
more wave than particle, so we could walk on water, and we were water benders. And so
Well,
I got a big chunk of information that came back into my memory, if you will, the water of my body, through my past lives and my ancestors, into what I'm supposed to be doing here on this planet. And it's water. It's definitely, I'm a Pisces ×3.
right.
I have my moon, my sun, and Mercury all in Pisces. So I'm a mermaid.
Very
And
good.
so that was, that was it. That was my calling. And when she said water, the water of my body perked up, and I said, "Ooh, tell me more." And then she mentioned, the patches, and it's like a dream come true, because what I've been teaching people to do without technology over the past 10 years, can you believe April 15th will be 10-year anniversary since I received my divine download about the Anahata codes.
Okay.
Crazy. A
Yeah.
decade. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
So anyways, she's telling me about these patches, and I'm not into any quick fixes. I'm into the actual, as you said, science meets spirituality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ancient wisdom meets what's actually happening. And I always I am very out there, but I'm also very grounded, like, okay, but
Yeah.
how?
Yeah.
And let's see if I can figure out the science behind it and repeat it. And so
Sure.
when I found out that it's phototherapy, I was like, I'm in,
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's what I also do. Is I teach people to activate the light within through the biophotons of their heart space,
Wow.
and that magnetism that occurs, between the electrical thought and the magnetic emotion, is the law of attraction, and
Right.
the resonance has a lot to do with the memory of your body, which is the water. And so the phototherapy, I was like, yeah, bring it on. And actually, I will say, if anyone is decide, just do it. Just contact Lou. If you found out about it through me, contact me. Just
Yeah.
get some patches going. X39, the stem cell one, saved my dog's life.
Wow.
There's too many stories to
Yes.
share. There's that amazing testimonial group I think we're both in that's got 11,000 people and growing.
Yeah.
It's next level. It's like people are ready for these med beds.
Right.
I'm
Right.
like, the med beds are here. It's a
Yeah.
sticker. Put
Yeah.
it on.
Yeah.
I'm wearing one right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a bandage. Slap it on. Go to town. Well,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. I mean, of course, I'm friends with Jessica Schaub as well. So she got to you before I could manage that, I have to tell you. But I couldn't be happier. And of course, she's bopping all over the planet with her connection to Lifeway. But you're in terms of next level, I love that. I hadn't heard it put that way for a while, for sure. And this is it. This is the challenge. Like all this stuff, and you and I and Jessica and many others, are cheering each other on with this huge paradigm shift, that all these things are representing. And it's I love that you started with Steiner. That's a name that comes up over and over again. I haven't studied him formally, but these are the Steiner and Casey and Montessori and many others, right? Royal Rife and Tesla, of course, the original, not the car company, etc. They were all just breaking the earth for all of us to walk over. And would I ask you to say anything, any reaction you have about what's been happening in Egypt? Do you have any relationship about all that?
I actually, are you talking about the red heifers and the building of the temple
Yeah.
and all of the things happening?
No, I'm talking about the discovery of the 2 mile big generators underneath the second Great Pyramid. Have you heard about that?
So this is so funny.
Okay.
I don't consume media in most forms.
Okay.
And so there can be a hurricane coming over my house and I'll be the last to know. Like,
Okay,
this
honey.
is a true story.
Sure.
People be like, are you leaving? I'm like, where are we going?
Why would I leave? Yeah.
Like, huh?
Okay.
Same thing with the 2020 thing. I was
Okay.
all, why are the restaurants closed? What's
Sure.
actually going?
Fair enough. You've got your focus. I respect that.
It's just not. I tap out, even though I
Sure.
do digitally come on, and it appears like I'm always on social media. It's really just sharing my message and receiving what I'm meant to receive in little doses.
Sure.
So I don't even know what you're talking about, but how
Okay.
exciting.
Yeah.
But
No, it's good.
all of this.
Yeah.
I'm a non-denominational Christian.
Right.
So this is biblical. This is all happening not randomly. It is. We are in the age of Aquarius. Things are being discovered. We are seeing farther. I kind of feel like it's like as we shift into these vibrations that are higher, we're seeing more colors. We're discovering more things. We're exploring beyond our limited senses. We're literally witnessing a shift in our species.
Sure.
And we're activating our evolutionary DNA. And
Sure.
along with that comes a lot of shadow, of course, exposing the systems that no longer work. And so for half the planet, it feels like Armageddon.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the sky's falling.
Yeah.
And for people like you and me, we're like, huh? No, dude, this is like the coolest
Right.
thing ever.
Right. Right. Exactly. Wake up and smell the coffee, my friends. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's a perfectly brilliant answer. So then let me come back to what it is you really want to talk about, which is the water. And I know you have an event coming up tomorrow about fasting, and I want to make sure to give you time and space to touch on all of that. So take it away. The floor is yours, my friend.
Oh, awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that I wanted to talk about that, but I will. It's something that for me, I'm always looking for how can I be of deeper service.
Right.
And the flow state has been this big thread that's woven together my water activation so eloquently. If you've ever heard of Csikszentmihalyi, the book Flow, and it's peak performance, optimal experience. Because I was frankly getting really annoyed with students who would see these peaks of progress, and then they'd go right back down into the depths of their patterning.
Sure.
And I was like, what is this about? And obviously it's neuroplasticity, is the water of your body. And so I really started diving into, peak performance, what that means neurologically, to get all of you on board with all of you, and to override these patterns that are keeping us small and safe and miserable, quite frankly. And so for all of 2024, I hosted a daily class called a liquid plan. And it was based on the lunation. So the 8 phases of the moon, cycling around and around and around again, because to everything turn, there's a season. And people could be really good at dreaming, and they could suck at actually taking the steps they need to do it.
Sure.
Breaking it into small enough pieces so they're not overwhelmed.
Sure.
Or they could plan, and when anything happens, oh, see, I can't do it. They have no resilience. So I started analyzing the cycles of the moon and what that's telling you in terms of letting go, right? Deciding, stripping away the old, even epigenetically, uncovering this newness, and then growing towards where you want to go, and overcoming, obstacles, planning to be resilient. All of the motivational hacks, understanding procrastination, and all of these things, not just spiritually, as you reconnect with your wholeness, but within your body, and within your neurology, and within your nervous system. So the somatic component of all of this identity that gets trapped and regurgitated, and you wake up and it's 10 years from now and you still haven't written that book. This is where my mind was at. It's like, okay, what can I do? Well, so for a year, I delivered this lunation. It was a 29.5-day cycle. Based on the phase of the moon.
Right.
And it was amazing. People were having awesome breakthroughs. And so for every day, even when I was away traveling, I would always get on and I would do the half an hour download. And then I'm going to, take all the content and create a book. Well, lo and behold, those people, including myself, when we're not tapped into that balance consciously, you go back into old habits, even though it was a full year worth of iteration. And I thought, I'm doing it again. I don't even know what moon cycle what the moon phase is right now. What is the deal? Well, I figured it out through asking, because when you ask, you're a match to the answer, and then it comes through, and your, RAS, your reticular activating system, hashtags things as important, and then you see it as synchronicity, but really it's just you've asked and you've attuned to it, and it comes through in divine ways that inspire you, and you go, holy shit, this world is infinitely intelligent.
Yes.
And it's all here for me.
Yes. So amen. Brilliant. Yeah. Well, again, honey, you are just walking tall in the saddle, my friend. You're riding high in the saddle. And it's so exciting. I mean, people, I think of Veda Austin, of course, and, who's our Japanese friend, Emoto, and Masaru Emoto. And do you know Dr. Alexander Ling?
I have not heard of him yet. I'm going to write that down. L-I-N-G?
Yeah, L-I-N-G. He's lovely. I connected to him through Medina as well, and he was in UK. He's connected to Sasha Stone. Do you know Sasha?
I do, actually. I have a story offline about that. We can chat through some of that.
All right. Yeah, Sasha's quite a character, but Alexander Ling is Chinese and German, and he comes from a very interesting lineage, bloodline in his family. And he's really an amazing scientist as well. So it'd be lovely to connect you. He and Stone went out to what was called the Zone of Silence for the solar eclipse last April, and they were doing a lot of interesting light work out there. But Ling is very involved in water, And so I'm sure the two of you are going to have things to talk about. But it's like I mean, I just love hearing what you're saying here about nature is the canvas and we're the paintbrush, and it is responding and reacting all the time. And I love your theme there about the process of it's waking up and staying awake, isn't it? And that a lot of us on the path, myself included, we've had tremendous enlightenment experiences from time to time, thank you God. And then you can come all the way back down to the bottom of the basement steps and find yourself starting over again. But I want to just underline what you've said about this is our time. You and I and everyone that we listen to is singing the same song. And it's because of the cosmic timing and all of the initiations and activations that we've been blessed to go through, and holding that sacred space. When I said earlier you were hard to get a hold of, honey, it's only because I've wanted to have this conversation for 6 months. So apologies. I'm not trying to give you a hard time. You're a delight, But so in terms of fasting, can you connect that to clearing the
So
field?
that's it. I realized, oh my God, what is taking our attention, both mentally, emotionally, physically, is food. It's what we're consuming across those planes. And they do that measurement, I don't know how, but they see how much light is being emitted from your body with some machine.
Yeah, or
And
Kirlian photography. Yeah,
the Kirlian
Yeah,
photography.
yes, that does that, I'd say.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's one other.
Okay.
Either way, the point at which your body emits the most light is not when you fill yourself up or hold or exhale. We would think maybe because it's parasympathetic
Yeah.
nervous system, but it's
Yeah.
actually the point of emptiness.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because the reason why we're distorted is because of our identities.
Hmm.
And when we merge with the
Right.
one, the source point, the
Right.
all,
Right.
that's when we are both completely filled and completely empty. And so we are distracted by all of the crap that we eat. Even if you eat whole foods and organic,
Sure.
I'm saying the digestion factor, because think about it, fight, flight, frozen, go, go, go. Okay, I'm going to rest and digest. Wait, you're going to rest and digest. Uh-oh, digestion is the gurgling, is the processing, is the conversion,
It
which is
takes
great.
energy. Yeah, it takes
We
energy.
got to get over that hump into nothingness. We have to empty
Yeah. Yeah.
ourself
Yeah.
of the noise, the emotional currents, the mental, and now I feel like fasting is sort of putting your mind, body, and soul on airplane mode. It's like
Yeah.
really unplugging,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that you can really pause and let the internal waters
Yes.
come through.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's beautiful, hon. The I mean, fasting is in every spiritual tradition. That's another one. Meditation, prayer, and bum 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 fasting. Yeah. So they're there for a good reason. Absolutely.
Yep.
You know,
And
and
now we get
one.
to infuse Anahata codes into the water for sustenance. For example, with the group that I'm leading in Facebook, what's it called? I think I call it water activation. I'm just getting the
Sure. Sure.
actual name.
That's
People can
fine.
still join even whenever they're hearing this. A
Yeah.
water activation fasting cycle. So if you go to Facebook groups and you search for water activation fasting cycle, or you just do groups / water activation fasting cycle,
Yeah. I have it.
you can join that group. And I'm going to take it offline because oftentimes when you start really making progress on Facebook, they can do a lot to bury your information, essentially, because it is too powerful and too amazing. So I'm taking it into school, SKOOL. If
Okay.
you ever go and it's not there, just go to school and download the app and come into the water activation area. But
Okay.
I'm taking people on an 8-day cycle that is centered around what I call the main event, which is one of four: full moon, new moon, and then both quarter moons, right?
Yeah.
Those four events, those are main events. I'm choosing this entire year, and probably for several years, to be a completely empty vessel on those days. And
Yeah.
so to do that, days 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5-ish, and sometimes 6, depending on the curvature, it's not a straight up, it is, but it's 29.5 days. So anyways, depending on when the main event is, that main event, the new moon coming up on the 29th,
Yeah.
that's going to be water only fasting. And the day before, it's going to be
Intermittent.
intermittent.
Yeah.
So, there'll be a window where you can eat, but, you really should just be having broths and things to ease your body into
Yeah.
this eating of thyself, which is
Yeah.
interesting. Like
Yeah.
when you eat yourself, when you start burning your own fat. This is David Wolf is amazing
Yeah.
resource for this.
Yeah.
But that is that is where you actually break through into newness. You're
Yeah.
finally getting through the crap, so to speak,
Yeah.
and into the new.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, energy, focus, clarity, inspiration, all of these things that are being numbed by our digestion,
Yeah.
those get burned off. And it's really, let's face it, it's a 3-day thing. It's not one of those 40-day things.
Yeah. Yeah.
People do
Yeah.
this for a lot, but
Yeah.
I'm calling this a floatarian. If you end up, with this lifestyle, this book that I'm writing simultaneously is called Liquid Lunar Lunch,
Okay.
fasting for floatarians.
Okay. Sounds
And a
great.
floatarian is just someone who eats really lightly. We fast intuitively. We nourish ourselves. This is not a diet. We encode water. We breathe. We ingest sunlight. And we don't really consume food for the sake of 3 square meals a day. It's like, no, we're going to ebb and flow around the cycle. And on the full moon, the new moon, and both quarter moons, it's just water. And we, I'm making a list of all the
Yeah.
codes I want to put in: activated charcoal, stem cells, mitochondria, all of these things. You can actually encode the energetics of those things into water and drink them, and it's I feel it's better than the real thing in some ways. Now, I'm not going to extremes. I'm not saying you shouldn't eat, but 1 through 5, mindful eating, it's an experience. You don't eat to eat. You really want to connect in. The brighter the foods, the better. Or darker also, that's prana cultivation there. But there's a science behind color, behind what it is you want to eat. I have in the book a dictionary of grounding foods and also elevating foods, because again, it's those two sides of the polarity where you can be too rigid or too floaty. We want to be in the Christed center.
Yeah.
And so a floatarian is really just someone who is remembering how to navigate the water of their body and work with it. Intermittent fasting, water activation, intentional nourishment. But it's really exciting for me because of my Muin roots. We used to do this. This is how we lived. And so now, yeah, it's time. I just turned 48. And so I should be fasting 48, days of the year in my Essen roots, because that's a whole other story, but with Christ in another life.
Okay.
And so this is, what I should be doing. And the way to ensure that is about 1 day every 8. Just water, and juxtapose either side with a nice little trinity of coming in and out. And so, yeah, Liquid Lunar Lunch is the book, and I'm super pumped, super excited.
I can tell that. I see that, sweetheart. Bless you. That's wonderful. Yeah. No, that's very exciting. Well, of course, I think of how people fast and pray for a vision, in the indigenous cultures and in the mystery schools. And like you're saying, it's and also, of course, you're doing this it should be said, after the equinox and right before during the eclipse, the
Mhm.
solar eclipse on this weekend, Saturday. So
Yep.
yeah, and astrologers, honestly, that I listen to have been talking about this eclipse in the end of March for 6 months or a year.
Mhm.
So we had a big one last April, of course, which I was mentioning there. But this is the next big one, and it comes after the equinox. And why I brought up these discoveries in Giza and how it's kind of rocking people's world is that, to me, these are the signs of the end of the Kali Yuga, the end of the forgetting, and the beginning of all the rememberings. So all of that, it just, your timing, your divine timing with all this just feels really, really perfect, really deeply tuned in. And like you're saying, the patches, being intentional with water, fasting, their science supports mysticism is the best way to say it, right? And the whole mindset that the world is waking up from, the spell that's been cast over everyone, that now people are beginning, we're all beginning and waking up from it, is that we can live intentionally, consciously, lovingly, peacefully, abundantly. And our body and the earth and nature will support that, is designed for that. So it's very, very exciting to be a part of this with you.
Yeah, I agree. Thank goodness that we got in. You know how many souls wanted to
I
come
hear
be
this.
here?
They're dying to get in here, evidently. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's really exciting to witness the activation of evolutionary DNA, specifically
right.
with all of the things that we're going to be able to um, have as regular faculties,
Okay.
ESP,
Yes.
our intuition, all of the things happening, telepathy,
Yes.
and as I said, I see it as like we're coming into these higher vibrations, and great central sun is basically taking the veil off, and we're
Yeah.
emerging, and we're
Yeah.
going, oh my gosh, and it's homoluminous. It's
Yeah.
like the light is coming in and
Yeah.
it's exposing all of the dark places, not because they're bad, but because they're distorted.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all coming back into wholeness. And
Yeah.
so you can, go kicking and screaming into Armageddon, or you can
I've said
realize,
the same thing.
oh,
I've said the same thing, my friend. Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Beautiful. Sorry for interrupting, but yes. Amen. Absolutely.
it's the butterfly. And it is
Yes.
the tower moment, and I feel like a lot of us, we've already had our tower moments, to where we're
Yes.
like, oh yeah, 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 no, 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 come this way. It's really, we're gonna be okay.
Sure.
Some
Sure.
people are like, oh my God.
Oh,
And I'm
honey.
like,
Yeah. I have my
we're
tower moments every day, sweetheart.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like you're saying, hon, we're blessed. We know what's happening, we know why it's happening, and we know what we can do about it. And the biggest what we can do about it is, as you said, asking for help, being open and receptive, having a conscious conversation with Almighty God, Goddess, all that is, with your higher power, with your guides, with life, with nature, with the waters. This is, of course, what the indigenous cultures have been saying for thousands of years, as well. They have also been holding that space of all life is sacred and Mother Earth is sacred. And as we bless each other and are a blessing to life, then life lifts us up and puts us to good use out in the world, and everything works together for good. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and I want to just touch on the also the beauty in dukkha, the suffering, that's only really self-suffering. But it doesn't mean once you have this path that things don't happen. It just means they don't ruin your day. You
Yes.
really can be present on a deep level with your grief, with your anger, with disappointment,
Yes.
frustration. And it's
Yes.
no longer, it's like what Rumi said, in The Guest, that beautiful
Yes.
passage. I
Yes,
can't
Cass.
remember exactly, but it's like,
Yeah.
welcome all of it.
Yes.
This is the path.
Yes.
So we're not avoiding the shit. It's happening and it sucks on a lot of levels. But what do we choose to do with that nugget of wisdom, and how do we choose to be moving
Yes.
forward in that center point where it's sort of like a cyclone and we're just hanging out right in that beautiful sweet spot, the source
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said, honey. I mean, my teacher Lazarus talks about taking joyous responsibility. And I was just reading this morning on morning prayers from the Course in Miracles that says basically, here it is, guys. All you have to do is say, I am responsible for my perceptions and my reactions, and there is a purpose to this. Will I take that responsibility, and will I find the purpose?
Yes. And that's the whole
That was a great
the
response.
four layers of consciousness.
Okay.
You know, the whole I can't remember who made this distillation, but it's just like so genius. There's four levels, and anyone who knows, you can comment in the chat. I would love
Sure.
to refer to this person.
Okay.
But it's just so true. There's four layers of consciousness. It's to me, things are happening to me,
Right.
victim mode,
Right.
convinced, stress. There's
Right.
no method to the madness because you have no control. And then there's by me, where you're like, no, I'm gonna roll up my sleeve and I'm gonna make shit happen. I'm gonna do this. And then that's burnout, because that's not sustainable, right?
Right.
That's Aramana. And
Right.
so it's too solid, it's too controlling, it's too based on the physical. And then
Yes.
you come to this liquid phase
Derivative.
of through me, where you realize, oh, everything's downstream, actually. And then you even go from there into the bigger
Yes.
unifier. Isn't it ironic how as you expand, you condense into a center point? It's a simultaneous expansion and point at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very odd.
Yeah.
I've often thought about that. But anyway, as you expand, it's the as me. So no longer do you realize, because we're not separate. We literally aren't separate.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and that's it. It's either you're either in one of those, right? It's either to me, by me, through me, or as me.
Sure. Sure. And they're all for me.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. No, I mean, hun, we're this of course is, becoming consciously multidimensional, isn't it? When you're describing, like my guides talk about the heart of the paradox and how, everything is in threes, and when there's harmony and balance, then everything, works together for good. When it's in the duality or the conflict or the contrast and there's no harmony or balance, etc., which is often, in human relationships about forgiveness and compassion, when we can do that, open our hearts to each other, love, forgive, bless, release, then we move into a higher field of possibilities. And like you're saying, my friend, it's we're remembering this more consciously and more deeply, and it's showing up, more persistently and more consistently, because we really are kind of running towards the edge of the cliff right now, ready to leap, into these new dimensional experiences. And as you said, this is all of the higher self, higher dimensional, higher consciousness. They all go together, aspects of ourself. And yeah, babe, it's the thing also about fasting is like I've done a few 7-day fasts. I think I've done 3 7-day fasts in my life, and they are profound. They strip you right down to the core, and you build yourself up again from the ground floor on up. And it's also this whole process of inner reflection and inner attentiveness and reverence for and humility towards the gift of life and the journey. That if we don't quiet our mind, if we don't slow down, if we don't practice silence, if we don't pray, meditate, fast, journal, etc., these are the 4 I'd say, and find a path of sacred service, we're lost in the illusion of the world where there's never enough, and it's always incomplete. Whereas with the sacred, it's always complete, like it's full, whole, perfect, and complete. because it really is coming from that higher self, soul, and spirit vibration, which is now, really consciously flowing into more people than has ever happened in human history. The final thought about this is that Patricia Coder-Robles and other teachers that we might follow, talk about how this particular ascension of human consciousness or consciousness itself has never happened in this way in any reality before, two dimensions in one lifetime or more. And so, what the discoveries in Giza about these generators beneath the Great Pyramids, and the statement from other mystics saying these are actually all over the earth, and as the vibration gets higher, these are going to switch on again. And by the way, they're run by water, is what it looks like. Generates
Of
energy
course.
through water. These 2-mile long pipes. I thought you'd like that. And so anyway, we're clearing the field. And so the fasting, the prayer, cleaning our side of the glass, I like to call it, that's helping us. You spoke about the DNA. That's helping all of our light and our light bodies, really begin to shine at a higher level. And then there's a split, I believe, happening. Glad to get your responses on that. So, we're just picking one road or the other, and we're committing to that right now. Does that make sense?
It is what it is. And
rock steady, baby.
I always say your truth is your truth,
right?
And it's true.
Yeah, babe.
But do you want it to be?
Yeah.
I would say if there's a quote that should be on my actually, who knows if we'll even have gravestones, because we may just be into this,
That's so 20th century. Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, your truth is your truth, and it's true. But do you want it to be? Like, as soon as we realize we are in a simulation, and the rules currently are length, width, height, time, but we're soon to be in a dimension where some of those rules, we're leveling up into a literal new game, new game.
Sure.
And it's playful and it's fun, and it does require digesting, burning off the old crap, which is why I think when you fast, you're literally knowing. They say know thyself. Well, you're literally eating yourself. Autophagy is like, wow, that's intense. And so you're making space. You're making space. We just never get to that phase because we're brainwashed into thinking that we have to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, or that as soon as we have any sort of gurgling or even the slightest bit of hunger pains, that's something wrong that we need to satiate, and that's just escapism. We can be with it and feel into that. I always think of like the butterfly going into the cocoon. And literally it's eating itself, and it's like, oh my God, it's the end. And then it comes out and it's like, oh no, I'm a butterfly.
It's the end of the beginning of the end. It's a whole new ball game. Beautiful. What was coming to me as we come down the home stretch here, this is a joy. I hope this is the first of many chats we have, my dear, about working with the moon that consciously for a year that you mentioned. Can you say a little bit more about that? Because I share the Mayan Tzolk'in calendar on morning prayers every day. That's my connection to time. That is a bit more lunar and a bit more feminine and all that. So what was some of the nuggets of working with the moon in such a way?
Well, really that it's a very illusional, time, and that time is only time because we say it's time. And actually, all we have is the now. It's these little checkpoints that we're plotting to sort of make sense of this journey in this space-time, right? But if you zoom out on what time outside of time is just a fabric, if you will. And we're in these little avatars, beautiful, amazing. It's not like a meat suit, or I've heard people, bastardize. The human body is the most ingenious vehicle that there is. But we are bodies inside our soul. We are just these little avatars, but we are light moving around in our little neck of the woods. And with regards to the moon, it doesn't, it's not like, it could even just be a hollow craft vessel, and there could be another alien race on the other side. Like, I'm not saying the moon is anything that it's just a checkpoint, and
Right.
it's helpful with the cycles to
Yeah.
remind ourselves that there is a time for rest, that there is a time for action,
Yeah.
that there is a time for diluting things down, and there is a time for complexity, but there's a time for simplicity, and there's a time. And if you don't sort of schedule those times in, you miss them. And then you start working, the 80-20 rule was really prevalent throughout the cycle. It's like we can work smarter, not harder.
Right.
Like, we don't need to, and we've been brainwashed with our Gregorian calendar. These
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
daylight savings and 12, it
Yeah.
should be 13
Yeah.
months,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
should be 28,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because that's how time chugs along,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I guess the thing that I learned the most about learning to ebb and flow with the tides of the moon is that there's great forces at work that are supporting you, and sometimes the best action is inaction. But sometimes you do need to, it's that whole honoring the 360 of manifestation, so that no piece of the puzzle is left out or ignored or denied or disowned. You go through all of it. Beautiful. And it's just very helpful to do that with, the new moon, and then the full moon, and the waxing and the waning, and what's happening energetically.
Yeah.
I call them super couples. Each moment of the moon has as soon as we're at the full moon, we're already waning again within a second. But we're focused on those points. So it's a dance, it's a relationship, and within each of those phases, there are superpowers that, if you realize they're happening, you can schedule things. I do that now. If I have a choice of X, Y, and Z, go to the calendar, look at the moon cycle, decide what would be a better day for you energetically to X, Y, and Z, right? But yeah, it's just been a pleasure, a treat. I guess this is our sign to wrap up. My lawn guy, I have my
all right,
shutters open, and he's coming around. Sure, I think it's going to get noisy here soon.
It's perfect. It's perfect. I have a friend meeting me in a few minutes as well. So I'm so grateful for your time. Can we do this again soon? And I'm dropping in on your group tomorrow. I'm going to join you for that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Good.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
I adore you. Thank you so much.
You,
I will definitely be on with you and your beautiful network again. And I'll share the heck out of it. I feel like we have so many. Our tribe is really there's no coincidence. I'm sure Absolutely. We've had some past lives together, and sprinkled through.
When you meet trying to stop a hurricane, you must have a few things in common. Yeah. Absolutely, darling. Bless you. Okay, so for everyone who wants to join us, it's Anahata Holly Hallowell, and I've got her post on my Facebook group, Awakened Spirits Network. We're going to post this on the YouTube channel. I'll put it on my Facebook page, and come and check it out. And let's heal the world and get on with it all. How's that sound?
Wonderful.
Okay,
love you so much, Lou.
You too. Love you too, Anahata. Bless your heart, honey. Thanks a million. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
You too. Bye, everyone.